Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and the Glory of Team Rocket set is out in Japan. It's been out for, at the time I'm recording this, around a week. I'm probably going to wait a little to post it, but this set is really solid. It's around half of the Destined Rivals set internationally. It'll also have the a bunch of other trainers Pokemon. There's 6 other trainers in addition to Team Rockets. But today we're just taking a look at the Glory of Team Rockets cards, which again, they're the Team Rockets Pokemon plus a handful of other cards. And today we're talking about the trainers, which are the best cards in the set. They are kind of insane. Specifically, we're talking about, I mean, I guess they're all Team Rockets cards, but they don't necessarily all go in Team Rockets decks. So we're not actually looking at any Team Rockets decks per se today, but we're not talking about the supporter package as a whole. But we'll take a look at some of the cards within this package because it's actually really interesting, and some of these cards are pretty insane. The first card we're going to be taking a look at, though, is the Team Rocket's Watchtower card. This card is a stadium that says colorless Pokemon in play have no abilities. The first deck we're going to take a look at is because mainly this card is a counter card, but it does have, I think, just one positive use for you, which is it turns off the ability of slacking. Actually, I think there's a single prize slacking that also has a bad ability. Yeah, you could turn that off, though. That's probably not useful. But Slacking EX is actually a really interesting Pokemon. It has 340 HP as a stage 2. It does have 4 treat, but it does 280 for 2. And then you discard an energy from this Pokemon, which isn't that big of a deal. But if your opponent has no Pokemon EX or V in play, it can't attack. So honestly, this doesn't matter that much. It's not that bad. Most of the time, your opponent's going to have Pokemon EX or Vs in play. Almost every deck in the game, attacks with them, so they can't really function essentially at all without them. And so it's not really a big deal, but you can turn it off using the Stadium. Again, it turns off colorless Pokemon, or it says they don't have any abilities, both yours and your opponent's. So this will allow you to attack in those weird situations. The deck also plays Fan Rotom, which is interesting. Fan Rotom gets colorless Pokemon, and of course, it's a colorless Pokemon with an ability. So you need to make sure you don't turn off your own ability. It's only turn 1, but that's interesting here. The rest of the deck is also kind of interesting. We do see Monkey Dory, which isn't crazy, and the deck has energy acceleration through the use of Blaziken EX. This can get the energies on the Slacking EX, but can also get them on the Monkey Door because it just lets you once every turn, and each Blaziken can do this. You accelerate a basic energy from a discard to one of your Pokemon. You can also do 200 with Smolder Salt. I've never actually looked at the card, I think, since it came out, but there's 200, it can't attack back-to-back turns. It's obviously weaker than Slacking EX in pretty much every measure, outside of the ability, obviously, so you don't really want to be attacking with it, but you can. I mean, there's not a type of energy you necessarily need in the deck. Outside of that, nothing super crazy. We see the new stadium, as I mentioned, which is disruptive to your opponent because looking at the metagame, Knocked Out is a pretty big part of it. I think Pidgeot EX is still very good. And then there's, of course, the Dunsparce. There is also Blood Mirror Luna EX, which is it's nice to turn off. The main one is definitely going to be Knocked Out and some of the stuff that kind of accompanies that. But you are turning those abilities off, which is really, really disruptive. Again, there are only 2 stadiums in this list. There's a lot of decks that play this stadium. I'm not going to be going over all of them. Again, it's been a week, and I believe it's the most played card from the set so far. And, we don't need to talk about, it's played in these Arcadon decks, and these Raging Bull decks, and these Dragon Ball decks, and stuff like that. And we're just looking at good decks with a stadium tossed in that doesn't even do anything for the deck itself. So we're not going to dive into that too much, but it is a stadium into all these different lists. We'll just take a look at a few, but keep in mind it is a stadium that can be played in pretty much any deck, and arguably should be played in almost any deck that the stadium's not going to hurt you. And so even if the stadium is going to hurt you, you may consider playing it to disrupt your opponent. This stadium is kind of like Path to the Peak. This rotated, I think it was like 2 years ago, or no, it was a year ago, just over a year ago, and so that card was a really meaningful stadium, and it really shut things down. This isn't quite as strong as Path to the Peak, but it's in a similar vein, and certainly a very, very powerful stadium here. Again, the rest of the deck, you got like a Crispin to get some energy acceleration. We see Power Glass as well, which is kind of fun. We see some tools for Arven and some different things, but again, nothing super crazy. Blaziken is like moderately versatile, and you got the Monkey Dory, and you got, some things going on, but again, nothing super crazy. Slacking EX, though, is a pretty strong Pokemon, and the ability can be bad. If your opponent can exploit it, then you just kind of lose because he can't really attack at all. I mean, I don't even think it's that big of a deal because you can attack with Blaziken EX, and most likely they're not really doing much there, but still, it is really nice to be able to turn off that ability too. Then the next deck we have here also plays the Team Rocket's Watchtower card. This is a deck that I think is a bit more interesting. Is it more interesting than Slacking? I don't know. They're both cool, but more interesting than talking about like Arcadon and Dragapult and Gardevoir and stuff over and over again. But this is the Ethan's deck. The Ethan stuff is not out yet. It will become, or it's not out internationally. It's out in Japan as part of the Heatwave Arena set, which is the first half of Destined Rival. So we'll be getting these cards at the same time. So I'll also talk about them some here. Ethan Toho EX is arguably my favorite card from the set. I don't think it's insanely good, but I think it's solid and it's really fun. I may make a whole video on it, but again, I've talked about it a bunch already, and it lets you accelerate 2 fire energies from your hand to one of your benched Ethan's Pokemon. It can be itself, its attack is pretty bad, but then you also have the Ethan's Magcargo. It does free retreat if no energy, but then for 3 fire, it does, well, it's 3 fire, but it can have up to 5 fire because you discard up to 5 fire energy from this Pokemon, and it does 70 more for each card discarded in this way. You could attach more energy, but it doesn't do anything. So this can do up to 350, which doesn't actually one-shot everything, but it one-shots most things, and it is pretty strong. It's a single prizer. It's not crazy hard to pull off. There's also the Ethan's Pincer, which does 170 if one of your Ethan's Pokemon is knocked out last turn for 3 colors. It's good if you're hitting weakness, but anyways, nothing crazy going on with the Ethan's deck. You also do have Ethan's Adventure, which I think is okay. It's one of the better cards from the set from tournament results that I've seen, but I don't think the card's amazing. Notably, it pairs with the Ethan's Typhlosion line, which I think is kind of bad. We've seen cards like that in the past, and they've been bad. But Ethan's Adventure is interesting, letting you search for 3 in any combination of Ethan's Pokemon and a basic Fire Energy and putting them into your hand, which is, again, pretty interesting. And we have the stadium. Nothing super crazy going on with the stadium. It's just there to disrupt, but still, that is, kind of cool. We see Squawkabilly EX. Oh, yeah, that's also another one you can turn off. That's a very good card, but it's only used turn 1. So, the stadium, there's a good chance it won't actually be able to stop it. You'll be too slow, but if you can, it is nice. Then then we move on to the next set of cards. These are the other stadium, and this stadium is pretty interesting, but not the main focus here. The main focus is the stadium is nice, plus the supporter, that's the main focus, and the item card. The item card is Team Rocket's Receiver. This card is played in the Team Rocket stack, which plays a bunch of Team Rocket supporters, but it just searches for one, and the only one played in these decks we're going to be taking a look at really is Team Rocket's Petrol, which lets you search your deck for a trainer trainer into your hand and then shuffle your deck. It's the same as Skyla, and I think there's another card that's the same as, but I don't remember what that is off the top of my head. But it's okay. It's not a super strong supporter, but it has seen some play. It's not bad, though it is better with the Team Rocket stuff because you can search it out, and then with the Stadium Team Rocket's Factory, once during your turn you may if you have played a Team Rocket supporter this turn, you may draw 2 cards. So it's some extra draw on top of the supporter, which is fine. Search for a trainer every turn is pretty nice, and we'll talk about some of the different use cases of it. The other Team Rocket supporters are all pretty much Team Rocket's exclusive. The Giovanni and the what's this, Archer or something? I don't know these characters. Oh, Proton. They can like really only be played in Team Rocket stacks, and same thing with Team Rocket's Archer. Team Rocket's Ariana can technically be used in other decks as a draw till 5, which is not very good, but technically a use case if you really want to. But Team Rocket's Petrol is really easy to play in any deck, and being searchable plus giving draw is really good. And then this is just a Gardevoir deck. It does play another card from Heatwave Arena, which is, again, part of Destined Rivals, but not new in Japan. And it just bench protection to non-rule box Pokemon, which is really important. Obviously, the non-rule box Pokemon are, they have less HP, and they are vulnerable. They are vulnerable mainly to something like Dragapult EX, so that's kind of awkward because, this isn't stopping Dragapult EX, but still, the Shaman is a good card and is stopping some things that could be hitting your bench, so it's kind of good. Again, not insane, but it's strong. I mean, it will end up seeing a lot of play. It's also it's probably the most played card out of the set, I think. But anyways, then we have the next deck, and this one is another Blaziken EX deck with some Pack-a-Run stuff. This deck's kind of weird. I don't know. I just saw this deck. I actually didn't even really look at it before recording. This is really interesting. We got the Blaziken EX line. We have the Monkey Dories, which is part of the Darkness stuff, where you have You can attack with Pekron EX, which is actually a pretty strong attack here. It's kind of awkward to use generally, especially because you can't use its ability to bring it into the active just because it says you can't do that for whatever reason, but it does 60 for each prize your opponent's taken for only 2 Darkness Energies, which is decently strong. I mean, it's pretty good at the end of the game. Okidogi EX here also is interesting. It can do 260. Yeah, it can do 260 in this list, which is pretty good. You cannot poison. I'm not exactly. Oh, I think you might attack with Pekaron. Again, I didn't really look at this deck, but you can attack with that and then poison and trap and then do extra poison damage, which is kind of interesting. We see again the Team Rocket's Petrol. We see 4 copies of that and 4 copies of the supporter Team Rocket's Receiver. Team Rocket's Petrol, the best comparison for this card is actually Arven in Standard right now. Arven's really good at getting an item. Team Rocket's Petrol, you'll probably be getting an item most of the time, so it's like a little bit weaker, but also the tool is usually not that important. There's some decks that kind of build around the turn 1, like say Team Evolution, which we see in this deck, and some different things. So Team Rocket's Petrol is, it can't get the tool and the item, which can be worse, but a lot of the times it's a little more versatile, which is nice. So it can get a supporter for next turn. It's pretty similar to Arven, honestly, but it is searchable, which is really nice. Then we also see the Stadium Team Rocket's Watchtower. Again, this doesn't interact with Team Rocket's cards at all, but it does allow you to go ahead and disable certain abilities. We also see Pheasant EX. You can actually attack with Hoopa EX, a random card, but it's really interesting. Notably, it's a Darkness Pokemon, or no, it's a fighting Pokemon that uses Darkness Energy because it's a Terra. So that's kind of interesting there. Overall, nothing, super crazy with the. I mean, it's interesting and new ideas, and Blaziken EX is out, but it's some interesting concepts. But in terms of the new cards, it's nothing super crazy there, but still, definitely kind of interesting. Also, the Torchic is new, and the Combusken. There is a new, actually, Blaziken. I don't know if people have been playing it. I haven't actually seen. Okay. Okay. Apparently, someone did play this. I'll take a quick look. This one, it's like a spread attacker, and you need energy acceleration. You can use Blaziken EX, and you have Frostlass. So, kind of interesting there, kind of random. But anyways, we got the new line there, and then we also see. And this next deck uses the package as well. We see the Team Rocket's Petrol and a bunch of Arvens, and then we see the Stadium to draw extra cards in a single Goldengo. Arven, the value for the tool in Goldengo is kind of bad because, like what tool you're getting. This list plays Team Evolution. Goldengo can play some different tools, but obviously the main use is the item for Energy Search Pro or like Superior Energy Retrieval, and those are really important to the deck. And honestly, the reason I think Goldengo right now is just like fine, but not super strong. I think I had it as the 8th ranked deck in the game. I actually made a tier list video recently. I actually made it yesterday is when I recorded it. I had it in deck 8 and in the A- tier, like so a tier below things like Gardevoir, Terror Box, or like a fraction of a tier below, because it struggles to find the items all the time, and draw can get kind of wonky, and you can kind of stall out because Dunsparce just isn't super strong of an engine. Also, yeah, that can also be shut down, so you do have extra stadiums to counter that, which is kind of nice and built in. And then you're just going to be using the Team Rocket's Factory to draw extra cards, which drawing extra cards is really nice, and getting your trainers out, your items out is really nice as well. So you can just be doing a lot of what you want to do. And overall, it's really interesting. It just helps your engine flow. And the combo, it's just really, really cool and really exciting. I wonder actually comment down below if you're interested in this package as your supporter draw package, or if you think it's just kind of gimmicky, especially without the Team Rocket stuff. Within the Team Rockets deck, I'm sure playing the Team Rocket supporters, you might not even play Team Rocket's Petrol, but it still is, pretty good. I definitely play one copy personally, but outside of that, it's really interesting and actually looks pretty different. Then we have the next set of decks here, which play the new item card, Team Rocket. It's called Surprise Bomb or Adventure Bomb, and this card is really interesting, in my opinion, and also, I made a video kind of talking about some problematic cards from the set. I think the Rocket's Watchtower is pretty annoying. I think the biggest one that I don't like the design of is the Arbok because it really shuts things down. Stadium also shuts things down some. This one can lead to turn 1 donks because on a coin flip you put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Now it's a coin flip, so if heads that happens. If tails you put 2 damage counters on your active. This is used with Monkey Dory really, because then you can just move the damage off of your Pokemon to your opponent. So it's essentially the same either way, though you do need the energy. So Monkey Door is obviously not free to power up. So people kind of act like that, and that's obviously not true. But if you're playing a deck like this is the Crustal deck. I figured I'd talk about this. I don't think Crustal is very good. I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's pretty bad, but it has 150 HP on a stage 1 and essentially the same ability as Mimikyu, and then it does 120 for 3, and then also hits through effects, which is, bad, but um, is it bad? I think it's bad that it hits through effects because I'm UEX, but I'm not sure. It is nice in some situations. Regardless, you have that as a tanky Pokemon, so you're hopefully not getting one-shotted. You can use the Monkey Dory to really good value here. We also see yet again the Shaman. Oh, the Shaman's not Buddy Buddy Pop and searchable as well. If anyone's wondering about that, that's a big difference here. But anyways, you got that. And then you got just one copy of the item here. I figured I'd talk about this deck again because it is a deck that's new internationally, not brand new in Japan, but still relatively new. Then we see our Arcadon. And Arcadon EX is very good. I said I wasn't going to talk about this all that much, but I did mention it once here because I think this is the deck. I mean, I think it's very good, though not this build personally, but this build now has some extra tools. The Team Rocket's Venture Bomb. I played Monkey Dory in our Arcadon EX, and I found it bad. I mean, I think it's not something you should do in standard right now because you don't really end up with damage on your Pokemon all that often. You have some, but then you also can start to get the darkness on Monkey Dory. But when using Team Rocket's Venture Bomb, that's a big like build around. You do have some energy acceleration using your Arcadon EX, so it's certainly not impossible to get the energy on Monkey Dory, especially if you kind of prioritize that and go towards that line. And then you can get some extra damage, which is really nice for Arcadon EX, and you don't have to jump through as many hoops as you do with the poison stuff. So you can just toss one Monkey Dory into play and just kind of go with that. It's not like a big Monkey Dory thing. We're using a bunch of them, but you're using one, getting some extra damage. And again, that item is going to be guaranteed extra damage. And unlike a tool that you need to attach, you don't need to do that. So you don't need things in certain orders. It doesn't take up the tool slot. You can play Jamming Tower. And then on top of that, it also is a card that you can snack. It's just more versatile. It is kind of random, but with Monkey Dory, you can reduce that really, really heavily. Then the last deck here is Dragapult. I also want to talk about this deck. The two top decks in the game. Again, this one can use the Monkey Dory. It does play a one Monkey Dory and one Darkness, which seems pretty sketchy to me. This deck's doing a lot. We see like a Corsair Pontiacs, but then it plays 4 copies of the Team Rocket's Surprise Bomb. And this card is, again, it's just extra damage. It can go anywhere as well. It can go anywhere if it goes to your active, then Monkey Dory can go anywhere. And then onto one Pokemon, any one Pokemon. Then if heads, it's also on any one Pokemon. You could technically split it up if it's your own Pokemon by like Monkey during different turns, but that's kind of sketchy. But then you have the separate turns thing. You might do that occasionally, but I cannot speak. We see 4 copies of it, and so that's a bunch of extra damage. That's 80 extra damage throughout the course of the game. How much value does this card add? I'm not really sure because it's not getting you set up. You're probably cutting into counts of tech cards or setup cards, which is kind of sketchy, or maybe like energy cards or something. But it's really, really interesting. Oh, it does play a Luminous as well for the Monkey Dory, so that helps things a little bit. Honestly, I don't think Monkey Dory in Dragapult is super good, but you really do need it to maximize the value of the new item card. So it's really interesting. It's never been played in Arcadon. Arcadon's much easier to set up than Dragapult. It's just a stage 1 usage using the discard, but you don't need multiple attached to it from hand, so that's easier. And then we have seen it with Hops as well. Hops, of course, you do have the like spread damage focus stack, so it fits in a lot better there, a lot more naturally, and you don't need the energies necessarily. So overall, though, the new trainers are really, really good. The stadium, the Watchtower Stadium, I think it's one of the best cards in the set. The Rocket's Draw Stadium is really interesting as well, and pairing it with Team Rocket's Petrol and Team Rocket's Receiver is really fun. I definitely want to try that out. And then the new item is also the Team Rocket Surprise Bomb is awesome. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, all that good stuff, and tell me which card you're most excited for down below. But I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.